and we listened to the conversation here between the guests of the hotel, Mr. Lane, Mr. Cole, Mrs. Gibson, and the receptionist. And after that, we also practiced how to sound polite using our intonation. So we did this, and we completed these two conversations, which talk about some problems at the hotel. So we practiced this, and we also wrote our own. We did our own conversation where we talked about our problems. So I finished this yesterday. Also, we talked about the strong and weak forms. We talked about was and was, where, were, does, do. So we talked about these and how to spot them. And we agreed that if it's at the end of the sentence, before the full stop, the auxiliary is usually in the strong form. So yes, she does. Yes, we were. Yes, it was. So in these examples, you will use the full form or the strong form. So we talked about this. And after that, we completed our lesson. And we'll talk about today's lesson.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Hello.
How are you?
Hi, Simiha. How are you today?
Fine, thanks. What about you?
I'm all right, thanks. I'm okay.
Alhamdulillah.
السلام عليكم.
Wa alaikum salam. Hi, Rashid.
السلام عليكم.
Wa alaikum salam. Hello. So, hi, how are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Okay. So let's talk about today's lesson. Okay, so in today's lesson, we want to, it's a bit of a revision of present perfect because we talked a little bit about present perfect in elementary at the end of the course of elementary. So it's the same thing, but this time we're going to talk in more detail. And we also want to cover the relationship between the present perfect and the past simple. But let's start here with some vocabulary. So here we can use these adjectives to describe our homes. So for example, if you want to talk about the size of your house, you can say my house is flat, my house is small, large, spacious. You can say it's, for example, if you're talking about the design, unusual, typical. You can talk about the air conditioning. If your house has air conditioning or central heating, you could talk about it. If it's got a balcony or a great view or a garden, you can also talk about the location of your home. You can say if it's on a busy road, if it's on a quiet road. You can talk about the distance of your house from other places. Maybe not from a park, but you can talk about the distance. You can say it's close to a bank, it's close to a restaurant, it's close to, you can mention some places. And you can also talk about the neighborhood where your house is. You can say it's in a nice neighborhood, it's in a quiet neighborhood, it's in a fashionable neighborhood. So you can give some details about your home. And the last thing is you can talk about if it's a flat. In a flat block, you can say it's on the first floor, second floor, third floor. You can talk about your house. So let's see, who would like to tell us a little bit about their home? And you can use all of these adjectives to describe your home for us. And maybe we'll get a chance to, each one can talk a little bit about their home. So hi, Samiha, okay, Samiha, you can start. Tell us a little bit about your home, the size, the area, neighborhood, give us some information.
Okay. My house is quite large. It is typical to the area. And it's got air condition. And it's on a quiet road.
Okay.
And it's close to a school and a cafe.
Right.
It's in a nice part of town. And it's on a ground floor.
Okay, all right. Okay, so this is some good information about your home. Let's see someone else. Let's compare. What about you, Sohaib? Tell us, let's compare your home to Samiha's home. Tell us a little bit about it. Is it also on the ground floor? Is it in a nice part of town?
I live in a flat
Uh-huh.
the center of the city,
In the center of the city. Uh-huh.
and there is a school and a hospital closer than.
Okay, so there's a school and a hospital close to your flat, close to your home.
So we have nice neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Do you have a balcony or a great view?
yes, we have two balcony
Mm-hmm.
and it's opposite the main roads.
Okay. What about which floor is your flat? At first floor, second floor?
The second floor.
It's on the second floor. Okay. What about the size? Is it small? Is it large? Is it spacious for a flat?
A normal flat.
It's
Not
normal.
small and not large.
It's normal for a flat.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the design or is it typical for that area, or is it unusual for the area?
Yes. Typical.
Well, it's typical. It means the other flats and other houses in the area look similar, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. What about you, Rashid? Tell us a little bit about your home. Is it a flat? Is it a house? Is it does it have great views? Does it have a garden?
It's a house.
Okay.
It's has a big garden.
Right. What about
in a nice area.
it's in a nice area? Okay.
It's on a quiet road. It's good. It's got a nice view.
Right.
It's close to the mosque.
Okay. What about the design of the house? Is it unusual for the area, or is it normal? Is it typical for the area? What do you think?
It's normal, I think.
Yeah, okay. So it's usual for the area. Typical.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about you, Salman? Tell us a little bit about your home. Give us some information about it.
Okay, my house is quite small.
Okay.
It's typical for the area. It's good garden.
Okay.
It is on quiet road.
It's on a quiet road. Okay.
It's close to hospital.
Right. What about schools and cafes? Is it close to a school or a cafe?
No.
No. Is it on the ground floor? Or is it a flat? You said it's a house, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about the area of town? What kind of neighborhood do you have? Is it in a nice neighborhood, a fashionable neighborhood, noisy neighborhood, quiet maybe neighborhood?
It's in a nice part of town.
Okay. Does it have central heating? Have you got central heating?
No.
No. Air conditioning?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, you can talk about your home using these kinds of words. Okay, so now we're gonna read about some unusual homes in today's lesson, and you can compare these unusual homes. You can compare them to your homes. But first of all, let me just show you the pictures. So this is the first picture. Can you see this place in the photo? Can you see it?
Yeah.
What's this called? Who knows what's this called? Does anybody know what we call this?
Lighthouse.
It's a lighthouse, correct? What do we usually use lighthouses for? I mean, why do we build lighthouses? What's the point? What?
For the boats, I think.
Yeah, exactly. For the ships and boats and, things in the sea. So at night, maybe they don't have accidents and they don't get lost, or maybe crash into the shore, right?
Yes.
But do you think you can live in a lighthouse?
No, I don't think.
I think no.
You think no? But what do you think about this man here in the photo, Angus? Angus lives in a lighthouse. What do you think of
Could
this?
work in.
Sorry?
Maybe he work at this place.
Maybe he works there. So, okay.
Maybe he like taking photos.
Maybe he's a photographer and likes taking photos. That's also a good possibility, a good answer, maybe. Okay.
Maybe he likes the design.
Yes. Maybe he likes living in a tall place, and he likes the design also.
Or maybe he like to be alone near the sea. Maybe.
This is also true. Maybe he has a wife and kids, and he just wanted to have a break, run away from them, and live alone again. Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe he like the view.
The view also, I think the view is beautiful, right? If you go to the very top here, and you can see the sunset, and you can see the sunrise every day, along with the sea. I think that's a beautiful view. Maybe he likes the view. Okay. Now, what about the second unusual home? What do you think of Meg and where she lives? What do you think of this? How would you describe this home?
She live in a bus.
Sorry?
She live in a bus.
She lives in a what? In a bus?
Yeah.
Bus home or motor home.
It's a motor home. It's not exactly a bus, but it looks a bit like a bus, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think she lives here?
Maybe she can't buy a home.
Maybe she can't afford a home. She can't buy a house. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe she likes traveling.
True. Because when you have a motorhome, you can travel with your home together, right?
Yeah.
So maybe she likes traveling. This is also true.
Maybe like strange places.
Do you think
Something
you mean
like something different.
Something different from a flat or a house? True.
Yes.
But which one would you like to live in? For example, Selma, which one do you prefer? The motorhome, where Meg is living, or the lighthouse, where Angus is living? Which one do you prefer, Selma?
I think
You prefer the lighthouse more?
Lighthouse.
Okay. Why do you prefer the lighthouse?
Maybe because has a nice view and
Okay. But
maybe I like try different.
okay. But do you think that with the motorhome, maybe you can also drive to the beach and you can have a nice view whenever you want? Do you think you can do that? You can, right? Because if you have a motorhome, you can go anywhere you want. What do you think, Samiha? Do you agree with Salma? Do you think living in a lighthouse is better than living in a motorhome?
No, motorhome is better for me.
Okay. Why is that? Why do you think it's better to stay in a motorhome?
Because, like you said, I can change the view.
True.
And I like small places. I like everything's near each other's.
Yeah, everything is close, right?
Close to each other, and I don't like the heights about
The lighthouse, yeah. It's a little too tall maybe for you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see other opinions. What about you, Suhaib and Nash? What do you think? Where would you prefer to stay, to live? What do you think,
Lighthouse.
Rashid? The lighthouse too. Okay. Tell us a little bit about why you think the lighthouse is more interesting for you. Rashid, what do you think?
I think it's more interesting to live there.
Okay.
You have a nice area to live.
Okay. But do you think maybe it gets lonely? Nobody's around, or do you think that's okay for you? What do you think? Do you like staying alone? Or do you think maybe it will get lonely without any people around?
I don't know.
You're not sure?
Yes.
Okay. Sohaib, what about you? Do you also want to stay in the lighthouse?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Nice experience.
You think it's interesting? It's interesting and it's a nice experience?
Yes.
But what do you like most about the lighthouse, in your opinion? What's the best thing about it?
The sea and the view.
Okay. And what about the disadvantages? Is there anything you don't like about the lighthouse?
No.
No, there's nothing you don't like. You like everything about the idea of the lighthouse.
Yes.
No, okay. So now I want you to read a little bit about each person here. We want to read and listen, actually, to Angus and Meg. Okay, so Angus is gonna tell us about his lighthouse. So we're going to go to the CD track and we're gonna listen and read, okay? So let's do that. Okay. Here's the track. Okay, we need, where is it? Which track? 46. Okay, so track 46. CD2, 46, CD2, 46. So here it is. All right. Can you hear the CD or not yet?
No.
No.
No?
Track 46. Angus.
I live in a lighthouse on the west coast of Scotland. Before I moved here, I lived in Glasgow for 8 years, but I prefer living in a lighthouse. I'm a writer and I enjoy being on my own, so this place is perfect for me. I've lived here for 6 years and don't ever want to leave. The best thing about living in a lighthouse is the view. You can see for miles in every direction, and the sunsets are fantastic. The worst thing is the weather. It can get very cold and windy in winter. But I'm very fit because I have to walk up and down stairs a lot.
Okay. Let's
Meg.
check Meg.
I live in a motorhome with my husband, Larry. We first met when we were living in Houston, Texas, and we've been married for 12 years. In Houston, I was a waitress and Larry worked in a factory, but we both lost our jobs at the same time. After that, we decided that we didn't want to live in one place all the time. We've lived in our motorhome since 2008, and we really love it. It's quite spacious, and we've got central heating and air conditioning, so it's very comfortable. And the best thing about it is that when we need to find work, we just drive to a new town.
Okay. So this is the story of Angus and his lighthouse, and also Meg. Okay, we have a few questions here. Let's start with the first one. So what do they think is the best thing about their homes? So Angus, what's the best thing about the lighthouse? What's the thing he likes most?
Move from town to town.
Sorry? What is it?
Move from town to
Not Meg. I mean Angus. Oops, book, sorry. The question is about Angus. What does he like about living in the lighthouse?
He enjoyed being alone, I think.
True.
I
And
like
what
the
else?
view. The view is very nice. And he
Correct.
likes sunsets, I think.
you can't see for miles.
Yeah, but he also mentioned something else very good that he liked.
You don't have to go to the gym because he have a lot of stairs.
Exactly, he mentioned this. Yeah, he said, I'm very fit because I don't have to go to the gym. So, because there's lots of stairs. But I think if we want to answer the first question, what's the best thing? It's the view, right?
Yes.
So the best thing about the lighthouse for Angus is the view, right? Okay, now let's talk a little bit about Meg. What about Meg? What's the best thing that she likes about the motorhome? What's the thing she likes most?
That's very comfortable, I think.
She said it's very comfortable, right? And why is it comfortable?
She said the place is quite spacious
True.
and she has central heating.
Right.
Yes.
But what's the best thing about it? The best
Drive
thing.
to a new town.
Exactly. If she needs to find work with her husband, all she needs to do is just, you know, drive to another town. If she needs to find work, right? So this is the thing she likes best, or she likes most about the motorhome. All right, let's go back to the questions. We have a few questions here. So first question, number 1. Where is Angus's lighthouse? Where is
On the
it?
west coast of Scotland.
Right. It's on the west coast of Scotland. Mhm. Okay, and what does he do for a living? Can you remember what he does for a living?
He a writer
He's a writer. That's correct.
and he enjoy being on his own.
Correct. He enjoys being on his own. He likes it. True. Mhm. Okay, why is he very fit? Who
Because
can tell
he
me?
has to walk up and down stairs.
Yes, because
Lots
there's no elevator, right? So he just has to go up and down, and everyone wants to go to the top and then back down again. So there's lots of stairs. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about Meg and Larry. Where were they living when they first met? Where were they living? Who can remember?
Houston, Texas.
True, correct. They were living in Houston, Texas. Okay. And what happened to them? I think it says, no, sorry. Who worked in a restaurant? Meg or Larry? Can you remember this? Because one of them worked in a restaurant and another one worked in a factory. So
Meg.
right. So Meg worked in a factory, in a restaurant.
In restaurant.
In a restaurant, yeah. And Larry worked in a factory. That's correct. And the last question, I think we kind of answered it, but why does she think the motorhome is comfortable? What's the reason? She mentioned 2 things. What were the 2 things that she mentioned? Actually, 3 things.
Quite
Central heating and air conditioning.
Correct. And it's quite spacious. So yeah, so it's not a small motorhome. It's, you know, it has lots of space. So it's spacious, it has central heating, and it has air conditioning. That's why she thinks it's very comfortable. All right, so these are a few questions about the lighthouse and the motorhome. Now we want to talk a little bit about grammar here in number 4. It says here, look at phrases number 1 and 2 in Angus's text, and then let's answer the questions A to C. So let's take a look. So this is the first phrase. Let's put it in a box. Here it is. And this is the second phrase. Now let me put a box around the questions. So we want to answer these questions. So, okay, question A. Does Angus live in Glasgow now? Does he live in Glasgow now?
No, he doesn't.
Okay. But why not?
Because he moved, I think.
Sorry?
He moved.
He moved, but
moved about 8 years.
But how can we know he doesn't live in Glasgow anymore? How do we know?
Because he said I lived in Glasgow for 8 years.
Something it's finished.
Right,
Past
exactly.
tense.
Yeah, because he said I lived, so this is finished, right? So this means, like Selma said, he doesn't live in Glasgow anymore. That's correct. Okay, the second question it asks, does he live in a lighthouse now?
Yes. Yes, he
How,
does.
how
Yes,
do
he
we
does.
know? How can we know?
I've lived here for 6
I've
years.
lived here.
Okay, so when we say I've lived here, it means he still lives there.
Yes.
Right, this is the idea. Okay, and let's talk a little bit about the verb forms now. What verb form did we use in number 1? And what verb form did we use in number 2?
First, one is past simple.
Correct, I lived, this is past simple. And what about the
Yes.
second one?
Second is present perfect.
Right, that's the idea. So here in the first sentence, in number 1, we use the past simple. I lived. And in number 2, I lived. This is present perfect. All right, so far so good. So this is the idea. So we want to make a comparison. We want to understand a few differences between the present simple and between the present perfect and the past simple. So here we have 2 rules here, and we can finish these gaps using 2 things. We can use present perfect. We can use past simple. But first of all, let's read the rule so we can decide. So the first one, it says we use the something to talk about something that started and finished in the past. And the second rule, it says we use the something to talk about something that started in the past and continues in the present. What do you think? So
We
for
use the past simple.
the first one, the past simple, okay.
Yeah.
What about the second one?
Present perfect.
Right. This is one of the main differences between the present perfect and the past simple. The past simple usually talks about, things which are finished and done. But the present perfect, the things are, they still continue to the present. So this is important. Now, how can we make a negative example using the present perfect? For example, number 2, who can change this to negative? So this way we can have a negative present perfect. Who can change this to negative?
I haven't lived.
I haven't, I think.
Right. So I hope your voice is too far away. Can you speak closer to the mic?
I haven't lived.
Right, that's correct. I haven't lived here for 6 years. So this means if we want to use the present perfect in the negative form, we use I or any subject, I, you, we, they, whatever. Then we use have, then we use not, then we use the verb. But the verb, do we use infinitive or do we use past participle? Do we use past? What do we use?
But this,
So we start here. This is just an example of the rules. So we have a subject, I, you, we, she, he, it. Then we have or hands. We have not. And then we have the verb, right? But the verb, in what form is the verb? You can tell me. Is it in the infinitive? Is it in ing, ed, the past, I mean? Is it past participle? In the present perfect? What's the verb of the form? What's the form of the verb? I'll give you another example. For example, I haven't been to Italy. I haven't been. Right. The past participle. We use the past participle. So this is an example of how to make the present perfect. And if it's positive, we just remove not, right? And we'll have positive present perfect, a positive sentence or a positive statement. All right, so this is the idea. They just wanted us to talk about positive and negative, how we make them. So subject plus have plus past participle, or subject plus have plus not plus past participle
But
form if it's negative.
but when we use the negative, Doctor, I think it's something different. How can I talk about something still and I put it in negative?
For example, you can say, I've never tried sushi. You can talk about the present perfect and negative for life experiences that you haven't done before. Or for example, is there a country that you want to visit but you haven't visited yet?
Yes, of course.
Can you give me an example?
Barcelona.
Barcelona, okay. Barcelona is actually quite nice. I went there in 2013. It's very nice. Okay, so I haven't been to Barcelona yet. So it means it's in your plans. You want to visit Barcelona, but you haven't been there yet.
Mm-hmm.
So for experiences you haven't experienced yet, you can use the negative.
Okay.
So this is one of the important ways of using negative. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about for and about since. But before we do that, let's take a look at Meg's examples. So here, number 3 and number 4, let me just underline them for you. So we've been married for 12 years. And the next example. Okay, so now let me just read them very quickly for you. So number 3 says, we've been married for 12 years. Number 4, it says, we've lived in our motorhome since 2008. Okay, so the question is now about for and about since. So let's take a look here. So the first point it says, so of course we can answer it using for or since, okay? So in the first point it says we use one of them with a period of time to say how long, and we use the other one with a point in time which refers to when the action started. So how do we use, where do we use for and where do we use since?
For in the
I think for
period
number
of
1.
time.
Right, so for is for how long, the number of years, and this means we use since to say
With a
when,
point of time.
exactly, a point of time when this new action started, right? Because if you remember, if you see what Meg said, she said we've been married for 12 years. For 12 years, this is how long. This is the period of time. And then she said we've lived in our motorhome since 2008. This is the point of time where it started, right? So this is how we use for and how we use since, okay? Now, let me take a look at number 5, question number 5. Okay, but before we do number 5, let me just quickly show you the summary of everything we've talked about so far. Let me take you to page 143. 64, 64. Okay. What's this? No, not this one. Here it is. Okay. So, very quick summary. So, of course, the past simple is for something that started in the past and finished in the past, right? So, for example, let's say this is now, and this is 8 years, but it's in the past, right? So it started in the past, finished in the past, it's over. But you can see here in the present perfect when we say I've lived in the lighthouse I've lived here for 6 years, it means you still live here. So this is the important difference. And here you can see for. So you can say I've been married or we've been married for 12 years. This is the period, 12 years until now. And you can say since, it means the beginning of the action, until now. This is the idea. In the negative, we say haven't or hasn't. Okay, this is important. So this tip, they're telling you that you cannot use ago with the present perfect, okay? We shouldn't use ago with the present perfect. You can only use it with the past. So with the past simple. So you can say, I went to, I don't know. Can you give us an example? So with using ago.
I've been in Libya since 2005.
I've been in Libya since
2005.
I've been in Libya since 2005. That's correct. But my question is about ago. Can you put ago in the sentence? But of course you have to use the past simple.
I lived in Libya 15 years ago.
Okay. Of course, if you say I lived in Libya 15 years ago, it means you don't live in Libya now. So do you get the idea?
Yes.
Yeah, because the action is finished. Anyways, this is the idea. How long? Question, no, it's another topic. So this is just a quick summary of how to use the present perfect and how to use since and for. Now here I want you to do the exercise. So here we have a nice exercise in question number 5. So question number 5, it says, where is it? Yeah, fill in the gap with for or since. Okay, so let's do this together. Let me give you some time first, and then we can check it.
Okay.
So take a minute. Check all the answers here in number 5, and then we'll do them together. And when you're ready, just tell me we're ready.
I'm ready.
Right. Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. So let's do them. So okay, number 1 for 10 years since 2010. What about number 3?
For an hour.
Right. For an hour. Number 4.
For a long time.
Right. Number 6. Number 5.
Since I was child.
Right. Since. Number 7.
For
3 weeks.
Correct. Number 7 with the command 6. 7.
Since Saturday.
That's correct. Since Saturday. Number 8.
Since I was born.
That's right. Number 9.
For 10 o'clock. Since 10 o'clock.
Since, because it's a specific time. Since. We've been waiting since 10 o'clock, for example. Okay, number 10.
For ages.
Right. For ages. Okay. Okay. So here it says number 6. Choose the correct verb forms in these sentences, then complete the sentences for you. So this question is a bit of a, it's a 2-in-1 question. The first thing is choosing the correct verb form. This is the first part of the question. The second part of the question is complete the sentences for you. You can complete it with any information about yourself. So again, I'm going to give you a few minutes. Take a minute or two. Take a look at these, and then we can check them together. Anybody ready? Not yet?
Yes.
Okay, so Sohaib's ready. Who else is ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Rashid, have you finished? Not yet?
I finished.
Okay. All right, so let's check your answers. Okay, so let's divide them. Okay, Selma, you can start with number 1. What's your answer for number 1, Selma?
I've lived in my home
Since when?
since 14 years.
We can't use the number of years with since. You have to use a specific year.
I don't understand.
Okay, so remember when we talked about for and since? With for, you can say for 14 years, that's okay. But with
Okay.
since, you cannot say for since 14 years. You have
We
to
use
give,
the year.
you have to use the year, the first year.
I've lived in my home since 2007.
Right. No, that's a good answer. So I've lived in my home since 2007. That's a good one. Good question. Good answer. All right. What about number 2, Samiha?
Okay. When I was a child, I lived in Italy.
Right. When I was a child, I lived. Is it the first one or the second? I lived or I've lived?
I lived
Right.
in Italy.
Correct. Okay. So what about number 3? What did you do?
I've been in this town or city since 2005.
Nice. That's correct. Okay, Rashid, number 4. What did
I've had
you
my mobile phone for 2 years.
again?
I've had my mobile phone for 2 years.
Right. I've had my mobile phone for 2 years. Nice. Okay, what about number 5, Sedna? What did you answer for number 5?
I've been in this English class for
Do you know how many months?
no.
I think maybe 4 or 5 months, right?
Yes, I think that.
Yeah, so let's say 5 months. So I've been in this English course for 5 months. Okay. And the last one, Simi, what do you have for number 6?
I've started learning English since 20 years ago. I can say that.
Can we use a go with the present perfect?
Learning English. I've started because I still learning.
But you're not still starting. You started only once.
Okay.
Get the idea?
Yes. I started learning English for since just for 3 years ago. I think it's wrong.
Yeah, you can actually with a go, you can't use for or since.
Okay.
You just put the number of years, that's it.
Okay, I started learning English 3 years ago.
Right, now it's okay now. 3 years ago. Because this is a, it's just a past simple, it's a past simple sentence. So you cannot include since or for, and you cannot use a go with the present perfect, because the present perfect you can only use for or since. But you can never say exactly when the action happened, when it finished, I mean, because it's still true now. You get the idea?
Yeah.
All right, very nice. So these are, simple examples of how to use the present perfect, how to use it with for, how to use it with since. And I think the only example, we have 2 examples, which are in the past simple. If you take a look at number 2, and if you take a look at number 6, number 2 and number 6, these are in the past simple. So they're not in the present perfect, okay? So again, the lesson, it focuses on the differences between the present perfect and past simple. All right. I think they want you to listen to these examples. Let me just take a look at number 7. I think maybe they want you to. No, okay. So that's it. Now let's talk a little bit about number 7, question number 7. So in question number 7 here, let's take a look. All right, number 7, we want to talk a little bit about how long All right, so the first question here, it says, let's start with these two. So can you remember how long did Angus live in Glasgow? Can you remember how long he lived there in Glasgow?
He lived there 6 years ago, I think.
Okay, here, let me show you.
I think since a date, I can't remember. 2000.
But remember, we're talking about Glasgow, not the lighthouse. How long did he live in Glasgow?
For 8 years.
For 8 years. So he lived in Glasgow for 8 years, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what about the second question? Can you see the second question? It says, how long has he lived in a lighthouse?
For 6 years.
Right, for 6 years. That's actually correct. Now I want you to help me write a full answer for these two questions, okay? So let's write a full answer for question number 1 and a full answer for question number 2. So question number 1, how long did he live in Glasgow? What's the full answer?
He lived in Glasgow
For 8 years.
8 years.
That's it. So he lived in Glasgow for 8 years. Okay, who can give me the full answer of the second question?
He has lived
Right.
in Glasgow for 6 years.
Not Glasgow, in the lighthouse, you mean?
Lighthouse.
Yeah, like
Right. So he's lived in the lighthouse. In the lighthouse
Yes.
for 8 years. Okay. So these are the complete answers for each one. Now they want you to talk a little bit about these two answers. Okay. So it says, which question is in the present perfect and which question is in the past simple? What do you think?
the second question is in present perfect.
And the first one?
And
The
the first
second one.
one past simple.
Correct.
Second one, the present perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So he's lived in a lighthouse for 8 years, present perfect. He lived in Glasgow for 8 years, past simple. Okay, now another question. It says, which question asks about where Angus lives now? Which one? From these two questions in the box, which of them asks about where he lives now? What do you think?
The second.
Which one is the second?
Yeah, I think.
That's it. Correct. So the second one, when we say how long has he lived in a lighthouse, so we're still asking about where he lives now, right? So this is also relevant to the present. Do you get the idea? So this question, it talks about where Angus lives. Oops, let me just. Do you get the idea, Samiha? Is it clear? Or not clear?
Yes, clear.
All right, okay. Now, number 4, which asks about where Angus lived before. It's also, I think, kind of clear. Is it the first question or the second question?
The first.
Right. Because it's in the past simple. So this one is the first question. It's in the past simple. Okay. So last question. It says, can you answer both questions with for and since? Okay. The point is they want us, remember the answers we answered here, right? He lived in Glasgow for 8 years, and the other one, he's lived in the lighthouse for 6 years. Can we change one of them to use since, or can we change both of them? I want to use since instead of for. Can I do that? Can I use since instead of
Yes.
for? Okay, can you show me how? So how can I use since instead of for?
So since and the year.
Okay, can you show me how to do this? And show me which example can I do this for? Is it the first one here, or is it the second one? What do you think?
He's lived in the Lightroom since 2013, for example.
Okay, let's write your example. Let's write it. So you're saying, if I say he's lived in a lighthouse since 2013, are you saying it's the same meaning as he's lived in a lighthouse for 8 years? Is it the same meaning, in your opinion?
Same meaning, but the question is how long?
What do you mean?
The question ask about the long.
Okay. So you mean we can't say since 2013, or can we?
In this answer, you can't.
Why not?
I think because how long?
Yeah, I think you're kind of right. Yes, because the question is how long. So this means maybe they want you to say the number of years, right? So maybe you're right. So maybe how long is a better, for is a better word than since, if you use for. But another question, okay. My question now is maybe for Samiha and Rashid. Are these the same meaning or not the same meaning, these two? The one that Suhaib changed and the one we did together. Are they the same meaning or are they different? What do you think? What do you think, Rashid, about these two? He lived in the lighthouse for 8 years, and he's lived in the lighthouse since 2013. Is it the same meaning, Rashid, or is it a different meaning, these two?
The same meaning.
That's correct. That's correct. They are the same meaning, no difference. Very good. So this means, and for question number 5, we can use since. We can use it, but can we use it for both? For example, the first one, the past simple one. Can we use since here? Can we say he lived in Glasgow since 8 years? Can we do that?
I think no.
Selma thinks no. Why not?
Maybe yes.
Maybe yes.
If we move it now, right now, maybe I can say since.
So we can say he lived in Glasgow since 8 years, or since 2013.
No, since 2000.
2000 use.
But what does since mean? What does it mean? I mean, if we want to
start, I think.
Okay, but in Arabic, how do we translate since?
Mundu.
How is it?
Mundu.
Mundu. Correct. That's actually correct. What Suhaib said. So when we say mundu, what does it mean? Does it mean it's until now or not until now?
Until now.
But number 1, the first example, he lived in Glasgow for 8 years. This one, is it until now or not until now?
Not until now. I said if he moved just right now.
No, I'm asking about the past simple question specifically.
Yeah, we can't.
We can't. This is the right answer. So this means we can only use since for the present perfect, right? We can't use since for the past simple. You can't use it. You get the idea? But with the word for, you can use it for both. الفور تمشي لحالها للاثنين، ما فيش مشكلة. You can say in the past simple, he lived in Glasgow for 8 years. ماشي الحال, no problem. And you can say he, for example, he's lived in the lighthouse for 8 years. In both situations, there's no problem. You can use for. Like القصة في since, no. So this means, can you answer both questions with for and since? No, you can't. Do you get the idea? لأن واحدة منهم جاية في past simple and we cannot use since for the past simple. So this is question number 5. All right, so who can give me a few examples in the present perfect using how long? Can you think of a few examples, Samiha, for us, using how long? What do you think?
One minute.
Uh-huh.
I have played the guitar since 2013.
Okay, but can you change this to a question? Because we want a question.
Question. Okay.
Just change this to a question.
Okay. How long?
How long?
How long has he played guitar? Maybe.
Correct. How long has he played the guitar? This is a good question. Can you think of another one?
Okay.
Okay, let's see someone else to help you. Salma, can you think of any questions using how long? Similar to this one. How long has he played the guitar?
How long have you learned English?
How long have you... I don't know. How long have you been... I think if we use learning, we have to use the present perfect continuous, right? How long have you been learning English? يمشي حالها, هو مش غلط. How long have you been learning ماشي الحال. لكن لازم نغيره للcontinuous.
I say learned.
ما يمشيش الحال. How long have you learned English? يمشي حالها لكن غريبة شوية. How long have you learned? You know, it's better to say have been learning. How long have you lived in? How long have you learned English? Spoken English. I don't know. ممكن يمشي حالها. لكن في continuous ممكن أحسن شوية. Okay, think of another example. This is a good example.
How long has she worked in this company?
Right, this is a good example. How long has she worked in this company? How long has she worked in this company? It's not bad. Rashid, can you think of any examples using how long? Questions with how long? Any examples you can think of, Rashid? You just need to use how long in your question. What do you think? No ideas?
Can I try?
Yeah, okay. You can try. What's your example? Hello, Sohaib, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes. How long have you studied in university?
How long have you studied in university? It's not a bad example. Samiha, what's your example?
You need example in present perfect, or you
Can
can
you-
use that.
Can you use how long in the past simple? You can actually. Okay, think of any other examples in the past simple. What's your
How
example?
long did he stay in Egypt?
Right. How long did he stay in Egypt? Okay, let me write that example for you. How long did he stay in Egypt? So let's write it. How long did he stay in Egypt? Rashid, can you think of past simple example? Can you write Rashid? How long did Rashid, are you there? One last example in the past simple. Think of any example in the past simple using how long. So you need to talk about a period of time, something that took place in the past, and it's it's over also in the past. Any examples? No examples. Maybe Selma, can you think of another example in the past using the past simple this time? How long, but in the past simple, not present continuous.
Okay. Just
What do you think? Any ideas?
Can I try another example?
Sure.
How long did you spend an exam? Is it right?
How long was your journey?
Okay. How long was the journey is also maybe a little easier. How long was the journey? Your example about the exam. How long did you take to finish the exam? Because if we want to use spend, we have to use time. How long? And we can't say how long. How long was the exam, or how long was the movie? Maybe if you say how long was the movie, how long was the exam? But if we want to say time, how much time did you spend on answering the questions?
Answered how long?
How long was the exam? How long did you take? You can say how long did you take to finish the exam? That's okay. How long did you take is okay. But spend is for time spent.
For conclude.
How long did you take? You take to finish the exam. No, this is okay. It's a good example. All right, so I think we have enough examples. So this is the idea. They just want you to know that with how long, you can use them for both past simple and present perfect. Okay, so here we have a nice exercise. So this time you need to decide whether to use the present perfect or whether to use the past simple. And question number 8. All right. So I'm going to give you a few minutes first to decide what to use. So take a few minutes first. And then after that, we need to check together. And we can also do the listening to check your answers. Okay, so take a few minutes and decide. What should you use? Past simple or present perfect?
Can I use how long to distance?
Sorry, again, can you use how long to what?
Or distance?
For distance.
Yes.
Yes, you can. You could say how long is it from, I don't know, maybe how far is better for a distance. How far? If you say how far, I think that's better. How far is the bakery from your home? How far is the bank? How far is the school? It's, you know, how far is better. It's, but sometimes they actually use time to talk about distance. So they say, for example, if I want to talk about a plane flight to Rome, I can say Rome is 2 hours from Libya. 2 hours from Libya. Madrid is 2 hours from Italy, for example. Do you get the idea?
By car.
Even by car, correct? It's 2 hours by car. It's 1 hour away. It's 1 hour away by car. مرات يستعمل في الوقت باش يحددوا بين المسافة. لكن لو تبي بالضبط how far if you want to be specific. And when you're ready, just let me know that you're ready and we can check these examples. Are you ready? Who would like to start with number 2? Let's see. Rashid, are you there?
Yes.
All right. Can you do number 1?
How long did you know him?
Okay. Now, do you still know the person or did he die? Because if you say how long did you know him, it means you don't know him anymore, right? Because with the past simple, it means the action is finished. Do you get the idea?
Yes.
So if you don't know someone anymore, it means he's not here anymore. يعني كأنك أنت لما تقول how long did you know him كأنك بالعربي تقول قديش عرفته السنة مثلا. معناها وقفت المعرفة. right؟ وشن حاجة تخلي معرفة شخص توقف إلا لو مات.
يعني استخدموها.
وبعدها how long have you معناها بنحتاج نغيره على ال past participle صح؟ بتاع know. Do you know the past participle of know? كيف يتغير؟ What do you think?
I forget.
You forgot, okay.
New. I think.
New, this is the past simple, new. What about the past participle?
No.
What do you think, Samih?
No.
Again?
No.
Known. Right. How long have you known him? Because if we say how long have you known him, it means you still know him. المعرفة ما انقصتش ما وقفتش يعني. Do you get the idea? So if you want to talk about a person, you can say I've known him since حتسمي السنة أول ما تعرفته. ولا I've known him for 10 years. It means you still know him now. الأكشن بخصوص الفعل know ما توقفش ما كملش قاعد مستمر. This is the idea. Okay, number 3. So Suhaib, what do you have for number 3? What did you answer?
Where did you first meet him?
Correct. But why did you use the past simple? هو صح لكن why? What's the reason?
Meet him. One meet.
Sorry?
One meet. And then.
لا قصدي علاش اخترت ال past simple؟ هو صح بس why?
Because it passed and ended.
It ended, and here we also talk about the first meeting اللي قال أول بكل. So it's a one-time thing that finished, because after that I'm sure you met again, right? So we're just talking about the first meeting. Okay, what about number 5, Samiha? What do you have?
How long has he lived there?
Right, how long has he lived there? Okay. Okay, Selma, what about number 6? What do you have for number 6, Selma?
Where was he lived before that?
Can we use was with live?
Where do?
In the past?
Where did he
Right.
live before that?
Correct, because it's past simple. Where did he live before that? All right, Samiha, you can do number 7 if you want.
7 or 8?
8, I mean.
how long has he how long have he been there?
How long? Have or has?
Has how long has he been there?
Okay, let's try it. How long has he been there? Okay, you can also do the last one. What do you think of number 9?
When did you last time seen him? See him.
Can you say seen with did?
No, see.
Okay. Okay, let's check your answers. Let's check the track. Let's listen. Let's see how many of these are correct. Let's take a look. So we want to look at 47.
What's your friend's name?
How long have you known him?
Where did you first meet him?
Where does he live?
How long has he lived there?
Where did he live before that?
Where does he work or study?
How long has he been there?
When did you last see him?
Right, very nice. So all the answers are correct. That's excellent. Okay. So here in the next question, it says, I don't know if we can do number 9. I think it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a bit of a stupid question, to be honest. They just want you to imagine, a man or a boy you know, and answer questions like this about him. Okay, I have a better idea. Let's change it a little bit. Let's make it about a friend you know. Let's start with you, Samiha, okay? Let me just return the answers, and instead of him and her and he, you can change all the information about anybody you know. Maybe your best friend, your sister, your cousin, your colleague, your co-worker, maybe your boss at work. So you're free, talk about a man, woman, friend, relative, anybody you can think of. And all you need to do is just think of answers for these questions, okay? We can skip the first one. You don't have to say the person's name if you don't really want to, so we can skip it. But let me start with number 2. But just let me know, is it a man or a woman? So I can say her or him.
Her.
Okay. So how long have you known her? And try to give me full answers.
Okay. I have known her since 2030.
30? Do you live in the future, Samiha? 2030?
Oh, always 2013.
Okay. So you're 9 years ahead of everyone else. You're in 2030 while we're still in 2021. All right. So where did you first meet her? Where did you first meet her?
I met her
Mhm.
in a school. In school or in meeting.
At school. I met her at school. At school. Okay, okay. And where does she live?
She lives in Tripoli.
Okay. And how long has she lived there?
How long has she lived there? She has
Hmm?
she has lived there since for 10 years.
Right. She's lived there for 10 years. Okay. Where did she live before that?
She was lived in Hun.
Can you say she was lived?
She was live in Hun.
But can we use verb to be with the past simple? Can we use was and lived together?
She has.
No, we need the past simple for this question. For number 6, we need the past simple. But my point was, there's no need for was. There's no need for verb to be. Do you get the idea?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So where's the main verb? Where did she live before that? Where's the main verb in this sentence?
The what?
Main verb, the main verb. In number 6, where is the main verb?
Did.
No, did is
Live.
the auxiliary verb.
Mm-hmm. Yes, live. The idea about the
Exactly. Live is the main verb. So this means you just need to use the main verb. Yes.
She lived
She lived.
Okay.
That's it. She lived in Hun. Correct. And where does she work or study?
Where does
Mm-hmm.
she works or study? She works in a hospital.
Mm-hmm. And how long has she been there at this hospital? How long has she been there?
She has been there for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And when did you last see her?
When did you last? Yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Good answer. Can you give me a full answer?
The verb. Okay. I see. Can say I was.
No.
I saw her
That's it.
last night.
Yeah, but you can also say yesterday. I saw her yesterday. Okay. This is also fine. All right, very good answers. So actually we turned this stupid exercise into a good exercise.
When
okay,
I
nice.
try to thinking a lot, I answered wrong.
Yeah, some things you shouldn't overthink, you should just answer without too much thinking, I think. Okay, that's good. Let's see, Selma, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Selma, I want you to think of anybody you know. You know, maybe your best friend, your cousin, I don't know, anybody you know, your teachers, your aunt, anybody you know, man or woman, okay? And you can answer these questions, but just tell me, is it a girl, a woman, or a man, or a boy you want to talk about?
Girl.
Girl, okay. So, how long have you known her? How long have you known her?
I've known her. I say since or 4.
Up to you. If you want to give the number of years, 4. But if you want to give the year where you first met, we use since. أو ده قاعد راحتك. Since ولا 4.
Okay, for 2 years.
Good. I've known her for 2 years. Nice. Where did you first meet?
I met.
Mm-hmm.
I met in school.
We met in school. At
Okay.
school.
We met in school.
We met at school. Okay.
Okay.
And where does she live?
She lives in Sabha.
Okay. And how long has she lived there?
She has
Mm-hmm.
She has lived for 2006.
Can we use 4?
Yes,
Since.
since 2006.
That's good. She's lived there since 2006. Good answer. Okay. And where did she live before that? Where did she live before that?
No, she she just live in Sabha.
Yeah, that's a good answer. She lived in Sabah. Where did she live before that? She lived in Sabah. That's okay. All right. Next question. Where does she work or study? Where does she work?
I say name of school or
No, you don't have to. Just say the city. You don't have to say the name of the school.
Okay. She study. She study she study in Sabha.
Right. Good answer. She studies in Sabah. All right. Next question. How long has she been there? I mean, in at this school you're talking about. How long has she been there?
She has. She has been for 3 years.
She has been there for 3 years. Okay. And when did you last see her? When was the last time? When did you last see her?
I saw her. I saw her Last month.
Okay, that's good. Good answers. Okay, Rashid Suhaib, would you like to answer these questions?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, Rashid, you can talk about any person you know, okay? Just let me know, is it a he or a she?
He.
All right, so how long have you known him?
For 7 years.
Okay, and where did you first meet?
In the school.
At school. Where does he live?
He lives in Tripoli.
Right. And how long has he lived there? I mean, how long has he lived in Tripoli?
I think since he born in Tripoli.
Since he was born. هذه حتى هي صحيحة بتقدر تمشي الحال. Since he was born. Since he was born. That's good. All right, and معناها لو هو قاعد في نفس المكان معناها ما فيش فايدة نسأله رقم 6. يعني رقم 6 بيسأل لو هو كان في مكان تاني. لكن ما دام أنت قلت since he was born, so number 6 ما فيش منها فايدة. Okay, where does he work or study?
He studied in high school in Tripoli,
Right.
but I don't know the name.
Yeah, it's okay. How long has he been there in high school? How many years has he been there? How long?
3 years.
Okay, and when did you last see him?
Before Corona.
Okay, so before the pandemic. Okay. What about you, Sohaib? Who would you like to? Is it a he or a she that you'd like to talk about?
He.
Okay. So how long have you known have you known him, your friend or how long have you known him?
5 years ago.
You can't say ago with the present perfect.
I've seen him since 2015.
Okay, so you can say I've known him since 2016, or you can say I've known him for 5 years. If you say I've known him for 5 years, that's also correct. المشكلة كلها في go بس هي ما تمشيش معها. Okay, and where did you first meet? تو هنا تقدر تحط له go. لكن هنا غير ما يسألش على الزمن هو يسأل عن مكان. Where did you first meet?
I met him in school.
Okay, I met him in school or at school, okay. And where does he live?
He lives in Togo.
Okay, and where does he study or work?
He's a student in secondary school.
All right, and how long has he been in secondary school?
This first secondary معايا ثانوي صح؟
Yes.
He's the first year.
Okay, so you can say he's been there for 1 year. صح ولا؟ For 1 year معناها سنة واحدة بس. Okay, and when did you last see him?
I saw him last week.
Last week. I saw him last week. All right, that's good. So here you can see, how to talk about the present perfect and past simple. يعني في درس اليوم تكلمنا على السريع عن العلاقة بيناتهم, so we talked about them. So let me show you our next lesson. درسنا الجاي, we are gonna talk about should, shouldn't, must, mustn't, هنتكلم عليهم should, shouldn't, must, mustn't. And we also want to talk about the infinitive of purpose, اللي هو اللي يدري على غايات. مثلا I came here to study English. Why did you come here? I came here to study English. You get the idea? So to study نفس معنى because I wanted to study. هذه يقولوا لها infinity of purpose, هنتكلم عليها أيضا. So this is our next lesson. So that's all for tonight. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you again on Sunday. Have a good weekend.
Thank you and good night.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Good night. Bye bye.